evening and welcome to Roughcut, a National Broadcasting Society production. I'm Marilise Lorario. Let's send it over to the news desk to get an update on what's going on locally here in Bloomsburg and the world around us.
Good evening and welcome to the news desk. I'm Connell Smith.
And I'm Brian Ortiz. The Bloomsburg Fair is going on this week, so let's send it down to our field reporter Olivia Minzola at the fair. Olivia?
Thanks, Brian and Connell. I'm currently standing at the annual Bloomsburg Fair, where thousands of people have gathered to celebrate its 162nd anniversary. For most fairgoers, this week is one of the most anticipated of the year, and it has good reason to be so. Food, friends, family, and fun. Between concerts, sky rides, and savory deep-fried cookie dough, the fair never fails to offer a wide variety of attractions and treats to its large crowd. Throughout the years, attendance has grown significantly, and we have people of the fair such as kind vendors, officials, and other personnel to thank for this. Safety and security has always been a top priority for the fair's officials, and this year it has been largely increased.
We did a threat assessment of the Bloomsburg Fair with 25 local people and also with the Homeland Security. And we decided to update the fair, and what we did is we sent a dozen people to school. We're working really close with the Homeland Security to upgrade. We put in some new gates, sliding gates. We put poles in the ground to deter cars from driving into the fairgrounds on a busy day because of what's going on with all the terrorism. We also put barriers in the parking lot to protect people walking on the fairgrounds or in the parking lot. Like I said, we went through all kinds of training. We have the threat assessment that was handled by 25 employees. If there's an emergency, there's 25 people that are involved in for the emergency. We had an inspector. We have ride inspectors that come in and inspect the rides. They felt that this ride was not to be open, so they served a notice to us that we don't open that ride. So we got rid of the ride and put another ride in its place. They're inspected every day, and I get a report on it every day.
No matter what, this looks to be like another promising year for the Bloomsburg Fair. I'm Olivia Minzola, live at the Bloomsburg Fairgrounds. Back to you guys at the news desk.
At a rally held in Alabama on Friday, September 22nd, President Trump called out NFL owners, suggesting that teams fire players who kneel during the national anthem.
Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL when somebody disrespects our flag to say, get that the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
In response to the president's bold statement, players from all across the nation began tweeting at the president. Buffalo Bills running back LaShawn McCoy took to Twitter and said, "It's really sad, man. Our president is an expletive." McCoy was also seen stretching while the national anthem was being sung. McCoy was not the only player to protest the anthem, however. The Seattle Seahawks, as well as all but one Pittsburgh Steeler, remained in the locker room while the anthem was played, while many others teams stood together, coaches and players alike, locking arms while they sung the anthem. In Philadelphia, Eagles fans were seen shouting at anti-Trump protesters. Coaches and general managers such as Shahid Khan of the Jacksonville Jaguars have stated that despite being on the field with the team on Sunday, he will not do it again. Which begs the question, is this a one-time thing or the start of something more?
With Trump's temporary travel ban on Muslim-majority countries set to expire, he has issued a new travel ban impacting citizens of 8 countries. The new rules will take effect October 18th and will impact the citizens of Chad, Iran, Libya, North Korea, Somalia, Syria, Venezuela, and Yemen. As president, I must act to protect the security and interests of the United States and its people, said Trump. The Department of Homeland Security officials say the restrictions are targeted at countries that refuse to share information with the U.S. regarding travelers' terror-related and criminal histories. The ban comes only a week after a bomb partially exploded in a London subway. Trump tweeted, The travel ban into the United States should be far larger, tougher, and more specific, but stupidly, that would not be politically correct.
In other news, in protest of the Bloomsburg Fair, a Wilkes-Barre native burned a homemade, double-sided Nazi and Confederate flag outside the Columbia County Courthouse. His reason? He believes that both flags stand for racism, bigotry, and hatred. Gene Stilp, the man at the center of this protest, said he conducted his protest in response to the fair's decision to remove a vendor that sold Nazi flags last year. However, the fair still allows vendors to sell Confederate flags on the premise that there's no law against the sale of Confederate flags, which Stilp feels is immoral.
Puerto Rico is currently recovering from the devastation from Hurricane Maria. Food is running low and clean water is scarce. Power is out across the whole island and is not expected to return for months. Everything is limited, including communication. The government is out of money and the country needs your help. To donate, please go to redcross.org.
October is here, and yet it feels more like July. Danny, can you tell us if the heat is going to let up anytime soon?
Thank you, Connell. As you can see, the weather cooled down just a bit over this past weekend, getting down to the mid-60s. But don't pack your bathing suits away just yet, because the summer weather isn't over. Tomorrow it's going to be back up to the high 70s, partly cloudy, with a low of 53. Thursday and Friday are going back up to the 80-degree weather, partly cloudy, with a low of 53 and 54 degrees. So if you still want that summertime glow on your skin, spend some time outside these next few days. But don't forget the sunscreen. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Danny. We're out of time for tonight. It has been a pleasure as always.
Thank you for watching the News Desk. Good night and good luck.
Thank you for that update, guys. Now let's head over to HotSpot and get some updates on what's going on in Hollywood and the music world.
Hey guys, and welcome back to HotSpot, your all-access pass to everything entertainment news. I'm Alyssa Michon.
And I'm Madison Scheich. Today we're going to talk about what's hot in the music world and some drama in the celeb world. She rocked our world with Cool for this summer and made our summers better with her single, Sorry Not Sorry. Demi Lovato's new album comes out Friday, September 29th. This will feature some new songs like her single from the summer, Tell Me You Love Me, and her newest single, Sexy Dirty Love. Are you excited for Demi's new album? Because I know I am. Next in the music world, Pink is making a comeback, people. That's right, she released her last album, Truth About Love, back in 2012. The artist is back with a new album titled Beautiful Trauma. This album is said to be released midway through October, and it has her newest single, What About Us. Lastly, she's an artist and an icon who pours her heart out into her work. That's right, little monsters. Lady Gaga has teamed up with Netflix to release a documentary called 5'2" that dropped earlier last week. This documentary is said to follow her around as she prepares to release her new album and prepares for her Super Bowl halftime performance. Are you going to watch this documentary? Have you seen it already? I know it's already on the top of my to-do list.
Everyone knows about the alleged affair of Kevin Hart and Montia Sabag. You may think that you have all the details, but there's more. Montia's aunt just came out in what said Tia called a short, intimate relationship in Las Vegas. Kevin Hart apparently asked her to be his girlfriend, and she laughed at the fact, as he also said he would take care of her and that he would put her up in an apartment. She allegedly turned him down because she had a boyfriend at the time of the hookup. She did not know that the comedian was married. That's all the information that Tia's aunt had to tell us. We don't really know why she is coming out with the information about her niece, but she might be receiving a not-so-nice phone call in the near future. Now to Johnny Caggs as he enlightens us with his I Honestly Didn't Know That segment.
Everyone knows Star Wars, right? It's everywhere. Even if you haven't seen the movies, you most likely know about or have heard of all the characters, such as Luke Skywalker and the rest. Luke Skywalker, in case you didn't know, is played by Mark Hamill in episodes 4, 5, 6, and 7 of the franchise. The role of Luke is his largest claim to fame on screen. However, since wielding his father's lightsaber, Mark has become quite the prolific voice actor. And if you're as much a nerd as I am, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I honestly didn't know just how many voice acting roles Mark Hamill has had. There's far too many to list out right now, or else we'd be here for as long a time as there was between the release of Return of the Jedi and Phantom Menace. If you take a quick look at his IMDb page, you'll see just how many voiceover roles he's had over the years, many of which you probably never knew about. One of his most famous roles is, of course, Fire Lord Ozai from Avatar: The Last Airbender. You'd almost never expect to hear Luke Skywalker as an insanely evil character like the Fire Lord, but hey, it happened. But I seem to remember another one like that, though. How could I forget? He's the Joker! Mark Hamill is the Joker's most famous voice actor in history. He's been in Batman the Animated Series and all of its various incarnations and spin-offs, as well as the highly successful Batman Arkham game franchise. To many Batman fans, Hamill himself is the best Joker voice actor that there ever was. This December, you can see Mark Hamill reprise his role as Luke Skywalker in Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
Thanks, Johnny. I honestly didn't know that. Now to a brand new segment called Minutes with Mary-Lise with our very own producer. Mary-Lise shares her favorite entertainment news of the week.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the first ever episode of Minutes with Mary-Lise, where I will share my top picks of entertainment news, and I don't know, spice it up, maybe play some games, but most importantly, enjoy every minute we have together. For today, I'll keep it short and sweet with a hashtag and a TV show coming to you soon. For starters, a segment that I'll be doing on this show every week that I will be referring to as the hashtag segment is hashtag Celeb Couple of the Week, my favorite celeb couple of the week, and some background about the couple. I also include this hashtag on my Twitter page weekly, @MJLorario. So for my first hashtag Celeb Couple of the Week on the show, I picked the original Elphaba and Wicked star Idina Menzel, who most people nowadays know as Queen Elsa from Frozen, and her newly wedded husband, as of last weekend, Aaron Lohr. These two share quite a bit of history as they were co-stars in the 2005 movie Rent, but their love did not start there. They did not make their debut as a couple until spring 2015 after Menzel split from her first husband, Taye Diggs, in 2013. You know what they say, what's meant to be will be. In other news, all you Pretty Little Liar fans all bummed out about PLL being over? No worries. There's a new spin-off coming soon called The Perfectionist, which stars two of the original characters in PLL, none other than Alison De Laurentiis, played by Sasha Petersa, and Mona Vanderwall, played by Janelle Parrish. And it focuses on a town, just like Rosewood, called Beacon Heights, where people are not what they seem to be. There was a press release about the soon-to-be series that stated, "The stress of needing to be perfect leads to the town's first murder." Sounds familiar. The Perfectionist will air on Freeform, Disney's young adult network, coming soon. I don't know about you, but I personally cannot wait to indulge in the murder mystery. That's all we have time for today. Stay tuned for the next episode of Minutes with Mary-Lise. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter, MJLorario. That's all we have for entertainment news today.
Tune in next week on HotSpot.
Next, we send it across the studio to wrap up for everything sports.
Welcome to our weekly sports wrap-up. I'm Sarah Jones. Today, we'll be covering the possibility of an NFL team in London, the biggest NFL upsets this past week, and disputes about the Giants. Let's hear from Matt and Jake discussing their opinions on whether London should have an NFL team.
An NFL team in London. That has become the debate over the past few weeks. I've got Jake McDonald, our NFL analyst, here to debate it with me. So Jake, should there be an NFL team in London? We've had some success with the London games throughout the years. So should there be a permanent NFL team stationed in London, England now?
No, I mean, logistically, it just wouldn't work. You know, are you going to ask a team to, like, play 8 home games and play 8 games on the road, or, like, have 4 home games, 4 on the road, vice versa? It just, I mean, you're asking families to move. You're asking, you know, players to go back and forth between different sides of the pond. I just think when you look at all things considered, it wouldn't work. And, you know, the international series, I think it's great because there are fans in London. But at the same time, when you have the same team going there every season, like the Jaguars, who have outscored their opponents in their last 3 London games, 108-65, going 3-0, they're just used to going over there by this point. And the other teams, like the Ravens, who went over there for the first time last week, it was their first time. I think, you know, I'm not using it as an excuse, but it definitely put them at a disadvantage going into that game. And then you had all the political stuff happen too. So it was just a crapshoot for that instance. But going back to the question, I don't think so. The logistics, wouldn't work. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably, unfortunately. I would like to see maybe like a little smaller league take place over there, but we'll have to see. But I do not think a team should be over there.
So that's all we've got. We're going to kick it back to the next topic we've got.
Let's take it to Jimmy and Aaron as they break down the biggest NFL upsets of Week 3.
Week 3 upsets in the NFL. Hi, I'm Jimmy Brown alongside here with Aaron Kaplan, and we're here to talk about what we felt were some of the biggest upsets in Week 3. Aaron?
So it was an interesting week for football in the NFL, to say the least, but there was one game that really caught my eye. My pick for biggest upset from Week 3 was the Bears beating the Steelers 23-17. Although I'm not a fan of them or any Pittsburgh team for that matter, the Steelers have proven over the years that they can consistently win under coach Mike Tomlin and veteran quarterback Ben Roethlisberger. That paired with Pro Bowler wide receiver Antonio Brown, Martavius Bryant, and arguably one of the best running backs in the league in Le'Veon Bell, that really fuels their offensive juggernaut. But this past week they gave up 222 yards rushing and only sacked quarterback Mike Glennon twice. So that really wasn't that great. Their defense really needs to get it together. They missed tackles, they missed angles. Bears had 38 runs and 22 passes and beat, one of the best teams in the NFL. They ran all over them. So that was the biggest upset last week for me, in my opinion.
Okay, well, for my biggest upset, I would have to say the Redskins over the Raiders. Redskins won 27-10. I don't feel as though the Raiders played up to what we believe that the Raiders should have. Coming off of a good season last year, they went 12-4 in 2016, as well with a playoff run. Unfortunately, Derek Carr suffered an injury, so they ended up losing to the Texans in the wild card game. But bringing Marshawn Lynch out of retirement, I thought definitely would help the Raiders out. We know beast mode, being such a phenomenal running back, so we definitely thought it would bring a change. He had 6 attempts with 0 touchdowns. Derek Carr didn't play too well either. He only had 19 for 31 with 118 yards, 2 interceptions, and 1 touchdown. On the Redskins side, Kirk Cousins had a phenomenal game, 25 for 30 for 365 yards and 3 touchdowns. I personally feel like this was the biggest upset, just like I said, because we expected so much from the Raiders, and I feel like they let a lot of people down who tuned into the game. So.
Yeah, I definitely think they didn't live up to their potential.
Well, that's all we have for Week 3 upsets. Thanks, Sarah.
What's wrong with the Giants? Here's Justin and Jack covering what could be going wrong.
Hello, everyone. I'm Justin Rodriguez.
And I'm Jack Burns.
And we're here to talk about what's wrong with the New York Giants.
Well, there can be many things with that one there, Justin.
Yeah, over the past couple of weeks, everyone's been kind of talking about, who's to blame, pointing to the scapegoat. Is it Eli Manning that's responsible for the New York Giants over the past 3 weeks? And honestly, I was surprised that the Giants didn't come out stronger. I picked them winning the NFC East. So, I don't know. What do you think about, who's to blame here?
Well, right now, I think that the Giants really don't have anyone that has any idea what they're doing on the offense right now. Let's start with that. There is maybe one notable running back in Shane Vereen, but he's on the high tail end of his career. And with Manning throwing 4 touchdowns and 5 interceptions in just these 3 games so far, you can start with that. And you can also say something about the receiving core with Brandon Marshall not showing up, Odell Beckham Jr. dealing with injuries, Evan Engram not producing what they really need. There's a lot of things, but can't really say it right now what's specifically wrong with the Giants.
I don't really think that it's fair to kind of blame Eli Manning for all of it. That's not fair at all. Honestly, I really think it was, a GM issue where on the offseason, yeah, sure, you collected all these receivers. You collected Brandon Marshall. You still have OBJ. You still have Sterling Shepard. So you have these receivers, but at the same point in time, they never really addressed the fact that their offensive line wasn't that great last season. And you see that a lot this season. And I think perhaps the biggest thing that I think they did wrong was over the offseason, they never really tried to make the push to get a true every down running back, and they've never really had a run game. Even in past, I don't think they've surpassed 50 yards in any of their first 3 outings. And that could be an offensive line issue too, but you really need a run game to complement an aging quarterback. Yeah. I'm not going to say that Eli Manning is someone like Drew Brees where, the team around him could just be, not that great, and he's just going to go for 5,000 yards and help them make a push in the playoffs. Eli, he's not that great, but he's not terrible. He's not as bad as everyone's saying he is. They really need to build an offensive line around him or try to get a run game going so he doesn't have to do everything. I mean, every game he's throwing for almost 40 pass attempts or more. And, I mean, even in their last outing against the Eagles where, they looked their best, I guess you could say, Eli threw 47 times. And still, like I said in the run game, there's only 49 yards on the ground. So it's too much pressure to put on him. So good luck, Giants, and good luck, Giants fans. Hang in there. Now it's on to our next segment.
That's all we have this week on the wrap-up. I'm Sarah Jones. Join us next week for more sports talk.
Let's take a look at what the NBS Digital Shorts team has in store for us.
There are two groups on campus, the Owls and the Greek Life. They both hate each other with a burning passion. I've seen them fight on multiple occasions. It's only a matter of time before a war breaks out between the two. Bloomsburg isn't big enough for the two of them.
What side of the war are you on?
I'm on, I'm an owl. But that's just me personally. I'm an owl.
Greek Life! Woo! It is obvious to see that each side loathes each other, and most people side with someone. But what does a neutral person think of this turf war?
So, what side are you on? Greek Life or the Owls?
Oh, at least I got the other one. Oh, damn.
With so much friction and tension between the two, they are eventually gonna burst and things are gonna get ugly.
Dude, this bullshit. These gotta get what's coming from. I'm gonna have them on Twitter.
It's a little aggressive, man. Don't you think that'll cause some problems?
This is perfect.
What are you tweeting?
I tweeted the Owls listening to Nickelback.
That's a little too harsh, man. What were you thinking?
With the first act of aggression coming from Greek Life, we can only wonder how the Owls will retaliate.
Son of a b****.
What's up?
Look what the geeks tweeted.
Why would they say that? It's a cruel world, Mike. It's a cruel world.
We have to get back at these dunces. This is an act that cannot go unpunished. I'm gonna tweet that the geeks can't chug.
Oh,
I can't even stand listening to Nickelback.
It's okay, man. It's
I
okay.
mean, I can listen to Rockstar, but like everything else.
Daddy's here.
What the poo? Nick!
What?
They said we can't chug!
That's a lie! You know you can chug that Mike's Hard Lemonade in under 12.7 seconds!
I know! I'd like to see them chug a 12-ounce raspberry flavored Mike's Hard in 12.7 seconds!
They can't!
I know! Ah!
Across campus, we will see how the Owls react to the Greeks' aggressions.
Alright, saddle up, boys. We're going to war. Tomorrow, in the quad, it's on!
They listen to Nickelback!
It's okay. It's okay. It's on.
The next day.
You like Nickelback!
You know I can chug.
I am the apple
That does it! What the f***, guys? What is wrong with you? You're both Team Bloom. This is bullshit.
I'm sorry I said you guys couldn't chug.
You know what? I'm sorry I said you guys listen to Nickelback.
Fucking Nickelback!
And so, peace has been achieved. For now.
You drop my ice cream, I'll kill you.
Finally, a new weekly segment called Quizzed in the Face. Let's check it out.
He's making dreams come true. Be on the street.
Hey Bloomsburg, I'm here with two guys I found at Walmart. So, naturally, because it's the internet age, we decided to play a little game, Quizzed in the Face. In this game, we're going to go around and ask people questions about the internet age and the current world today. And if they get it wrong, they get nothing. But if they get it right, they get to spray us in the face with silly string. Alright, let's go. Sir, miss, what does NATO stand for?
North Atlantic Trade
What does LMFAO stand for?
Laugh my fucking ass off.
Yep. Alright. Spray me in the face. Alright, thank you.
All right, sir, do you mind if we ask you a quick question?
No, sure, what is it?
All right, so finish this line. Give me liberty or give me...
Death.
Okay, now who said it?
I have no idea.
All right, well, you got one of it. So just hit me in the face. Thank you. Thank you. I deserve this.
No problem.
Ma'am. All right, finish this name. Dolly.
Parton.
What?
Parton.
Who's that? Get out of here.
Ma'am.
Yes?
Answer this question.
Okay.
Where's the Panama Canal located?
I have no idea.
Come on.
I have no idea. Panama Canal. Mexico.
Excuse me, ma'am. Okay, so, are you against women's suffrage?
Yes.
No, wait, that's wrong.
Wait.
No, that's wrong.
Let's go. Mama jamma. Okay, are you against women's suffrage?
No.
So you're not against women's suffrage?
No.
You're for it? You're
Yeah.
for women's suffrage?
I know it's a trick question. I know the answer.
It's an opinion question.
I'm for it.
You're for suffrage.
Yes, I'm for it.
All right, there you go.
Yes.
Smartest one today.
Do I get to silly string you?
Yeah, sure, why not?
All right. Twice.
Stop it.
Wait, I want a silly string. Can I get that?
You have to answer a question.
What is the Amazon River?
It's a f***ing river. What kind of questions? What is this for?
I don't know.
Okay.
They just picked me up.
I think I got it.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Who lives at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue?
The president?
Correct. Now who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Alright, correct. Now spray me in the face. Get it up there.
Ma'am. So, what is a pediatrician?
A child doctor.
Okay, good. And then what's Wikipedia?
Like a website.
Okay, cool. There you go.
I'm so sorry.
Now you keep doing it.
Wait, can I use the can?
What? You're gonna hit me in the face with a can? Thank you very much, ma'am. And that's been a great day for...
Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
He's making dreams come true. Be on the street.
That's all we have for you this week for Rough Cut. I'm Marilise Lorario. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.